What up? It's Jimmy from odds.com. This is a clip from our big NCAA football opening lines show. If you want to watch the entire show, hit the link on the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. We're going to start with Thursday action at 2 p.m. Eastern. Colorado State at Air Force. And I've already moved on Colorado State. This is the first time where I put in any action before our Monday show. But I did move on Colorado State full game at +6. And they aren't available, the 6s now. In fact, there's 5s on the board. There is a 5.5 at most books. But money coming in on Colorado State. This opened as Air Force 6.5-point favorites, 38 Fahrenheit sunny, 9 miles per hour. Colorado State 1-2 in the Mountain West, going up against Air Force 1-2 in the Mountain West, 2-2 overall. Colorado State had the game canceled last week due to positive COVID cases on UNLV. They last played 2 weeks ago in a 52-21 loss at Boise. That loss was better than the final score indicates. They held the Broncos to just 291 yards, held them to 1 for 15 on third down. Boise State scored 2 touchdowns on block punts and a fumble recovery. Through 3 games, Colorado State's allowing 38 points per game while scoring just 24, but I don't think that's a fair representation of this football team. Air Force snapped their 2-game losing streak last week in a 28-0 win at home over New Mexico. We were on the under there thanks to Nolly knows. Air Force runs for 336 yards a game while passing for just 67, and Colorado State's run defense has been good all year. They allow 105.7 yards per game. I think I'm in a nice spot with Colorado. Let's go around the horn. We're talking Mountain West, so let's start with Nolly knows. What do you think of this spot, Colorado State Air Force?
I mean, that's interesting to take Colorado State. To me, I wasn't more so looking at a total here once again, being the fact that Colorado State has actually been pretty good against the run. You look at their stats against the run. Pull them up here. They rank 3rd in the nation, only giving up 2.5 yards per rush, giving up 105.7 yards on the ground, and being that their last game was canceled, they get a little extra time to sit here and prepare for the triple option, which is always a good thing. And Air Force is always trying to run the ball, trying to control the clock. And you see they're very methodical. They're 98th in the nation at 67.5 plays per game run. And their defense has been really good. They've given up just 18.2 points per game. Their rushing defense has also been very good, giving up just 3.6 yards per rush, 106 yards per game. And so to me, the angle I'll maybe looking to attack is going to be the under here once again.
We have one book. Let me see if I can refresh, see if we can get any more. We have one book offshore with a 54 for the total. Let's see if I can get any more now. I can't. Okay, so that's moved down to 53.5 or 53 for the total. Nolly looking at a under. In this Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern spot, Colorado State Air Force. Let's go to CMac, a little Mountain West action. CMac, you're in Vegas. You watch this conference closely. What do you think here?
Yeah, I've on the side here, I maybe go with the points with Colorado State. I'd wait. So both games, Air Force beat New Mexico, which I had the under in New Mexico. New Mexico missed 5 field goals. They should have scored, in that game, touchdowns. So I think that game is a little lopsided. Then we'll take Colorado State's last game against Boise. They outgained them. They gave up 3 special teams touchdowns. So I think this game is pretty close. The numbers where it's at. I mean, I'd lean Colorado State, but I'm with Nolly. Colorado State, 8 of its last 11 games under. And Air Force had always an under machine, 4 of its last 5. I'd have to lean with the under here.
Makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. John Ryan, what do you think of this spot?
I like your idea with Colorado State quite a bit. Coach Calhoun of Air Force is 9-25 against the spread when facing a defense that's not so good against the pass that allows 8 or more yards per pass attempt. So you're going to yell at me and say Air Force doesn't throw the ball, John. Well, the record is what the record is. It just shows how one-sided some of their offensive schemes have been from season to season. And I like that trend supporting your pick on Colorado State quite a bit. The matchup, too, they faced each other 40 times. Air Force has dominated it, winning 25 of the games. But here recently, Air Force has won the last 4, but they've alternated ATS wins and losses. So in 2016, Air Force won in in a shootout, 49-46, but failed to cover as 4.5-point favorites. Then the next year they won 45-28 and covered as 10-point underdogs. And the last two seasons have been the same way. So this would set up, if the pattern continues, it would be Colorado State covering the spread. I think that wins the game, Jimmy. I like this play a lot.
Yeah, so do I. In fact, I'm going to double up as soon as the first half comes out. I can't get at the first half right now, but I did get that +6, and that's moved to 5.5 in my book. The total sitting there at 53.5. Do you also agree with the boys on the under, or are you just focusing on the side here, John?
I'm going to focus on the side, but I would not be betting the over here. What's interesting is this is 53, I think you said. The last 3 years, the total has been 69, 62, and 60.
Wow.
So you have a dramatically lower line than the previous 3 seasons, and that reflects the type of style of teams they are. So I think that's telling you something there, too, to lean on that under.
I love it. I love it. Let's go. We have our first game in the books. Man, I enjoy this immensely. Monday afternoon, NCAA opening the line show with our guys, CMac, Nolly, Nose, and John Ryan. Thank you all so much for joining us here in the chat. Odds.com in business, one game down.